Hi, everybody. Gina Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. I swear someday I will come up with a better introduction to my Facebook Live. But today I am joined by Gina Michak of iBook Travel for You. I'm very grateful that she was able to come on today because Gina is a great person. I've gotten to know her from some different networking events, and I think she actually has two businesses, but we're talking about one today. And I think what she has to say would be very valuable, especially with summer coming up and people getting back into the travel mode. So just a little introduction about Gina. Gina Michak is a wife and mom of 3 children, married to her high school sweetheart, both originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's been a Manassas resident for 29 years. Gina has been baking and cooking for crowds for more than 25 years. Trained by an exacting Italian grandmother in Pittsburgh with skills honed by 100 of events for groups ranging from 5 to 50. As a child, Gina loved helping her grandmother bake cookies and cakes. Cooking and baking started out as a hobby. Since then, it's morphed into so much more. It's a passion and a creative outlet for her, and she loves trying new recipes. But she says what's even better is seeing someone's reaction after tasting one of her creations. These days, you can also find her sprinkling pixie dust as she helps families plan Disney destination vacations. Gina started working with iBook Travel for You in 2020 during COVID as their Disney travel professional. Gina likes to say she can now plan a Disney birthday party or a Disney travel party for you. She is certified to book and plan your Disney vacation to any Disney destination across the globe. There's also information which we can show you later, and it's in the event description for kid class information and Disney planning if you're interested in either the cooking or the Disney vacation planning. So at this point, Gina, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you could tell everybody just a little introduction about your business and what a Disney travel agent can do. And while you do that, I'm going to share this in the different Facebook groups.
Sure. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Yes, I am Gina Michak, and I do work with iBook Travel for You. It is a travel agency owned by Alicia House. And I met Alicia in a networking group in 2019. And this is just a little bit about the power of networking. Of course, Jean and I met through several networking groups over the past few years, including time online during COVID. But I did start doing my travel business in April of 2020. So when everything shut down and my baking business came to a halt, I decided now's a good time as any to do some training to be a travel agent. And I had always enjoyed traveling with my family. We still enjoy traveling together. So going from having a baking business and adding the travel business into it was kind of a no-brainer. And it was funny because I met Alicia in November of 2019 and had coffee with her and asked, do people do travel agent part-time? And do people only sell Disney? And the answer was yes and yes. And I said, okay, good to know, because I do love Disney and I love traveling. So I'll think about it. And I didn't really have much to think about come March of 2020. So in April of 2020, I started with the training. Because there is a lot of training that goes into becoming a travel agent, and specifically if you're selling Disney destinations. So I exclusively sell Disney destinations, at least for right now. Over the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of exciting news that's coming out from Disney, as well as other areas of Orlando. But I have to keep up on all that. So a lot of my time now is spent in training, keeping up with the news, the daily news pretty much with travel. And yes, people are traveling. And if you're thinking about a Disney vacation in 2024, it is not too early to start thinking about that. It's not too early to start thinking about fall break, Christmas break, even next spring break. For those of you that are interested in Walt Disney World, their vacation packages for 2024 are going to be released on May 31st. So I anticipate being very busy that day, waiting on hold which is one of the things a travel agent will do for you. I know a lot of people always have questions about what is it like to work with a travel agent? Does it cost money to work with a travel agent? The answer is no, it does not. The prices that you see when you're looking online are the same prices that I see. So if you go to the Disney World website and you price a trip for your family, I'm looking at the same price on the travel agent side. What you're not seeing is the value in working with me and me planning the trip for you and giving you all the information that you need. So you're not online for hours on end researching what is Genie Plus? What's a lightning lane? What does rope drop mean? What is a mobile order? What is Cinderella's royal table? All those questions. What's a dining reservation? When do I make a dining reservation? Why would I make a dining reservation? All those questions are things I will be able to answer for you. Certainly, you can plan your own trip, and I have worked with a lot of people who at the end of the day said, nope, I can do this on my own, which is great, which is absolutely great. I started out planning on my own and realized how much fun I was having doing it. And I was also helping friends plan their trips. It is fun for me. I do like doing it. And I like helping other people. So it really is an extension of my baking in From Gina's Kitchen. I do like to see the end result. I love the pictures. I love the emails or the texts. We had a great trip. Thank you for telling us about, that dining experience. Thank you for helping us get those reservations. And any travel agent feels the same. I mean, and depending on where you're going, I work with a team of 5 agents. And if you're looking for something that's not Disney destination, any one of the other gals that I work with can help you. I recently used my friend Barbara as my travel agent. She planned a trip to Italy for us. I didn't have to think about a thing. I didn't have to think about dining reservations. I didn't have to think about transportation. She took care of all of it. So that's really what you're paying for. You're paying for our time, our expertise, and we do all the work for you. And even when I was in Italy, I texted Barbara with questions and she was able to help me and answer them. So even travel agents use travel agents.
So my first question, why Disney? Why do you specifically only do Disney vacations?
Okay, that's a good question. And I guess you will be the first one to know now. Effective like a couple of days ago, I did take training to also sell Universal. So I am a Disney destination specialist, but I will be dabbling in Universal packages. And I also recently studied and took the training on becoming an Orlando specialist. So it took me a couple of hours to watch all the modules and learn all about Orlando, because surprisingly, there's more to Orlando than just Disney World. But why did I become a travel agent and originally enter with just Disney? I had traveled to Disney World many, many times with my family. I had been to I had been to Disneyland Paris. I had visited Disney's Aulani in Hawaii twice. I just have an all over love for all things Disney. And I think it's not that hard to plan your Disney trip. Whereas the other agents that I work with were thankful that I came on board, because I just assumed everybody loved planning Disney trips, but that's not the case. So I think it takes someone who really, really loves Disney to want to plan a Disney trip, which is why all the gals that I will travel for you pass me all the Disney stuff. So, and I'm thankful.
Okay, so for those of us who have not used a travel agent before, I mean, you've said that you literally take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just give an example, not with a ton of details, but just an example of what you specifically could do for them so that they don't have to do anything? Like, what would it look like for them when they go on their vacation?
So, okay, I'll use myself as an example, my trip to Italy. I told Barbara, my husband and I want to go to Italy, and we would like to visit Rome, Venice, and Florence. How can you help us? What can you do? And she asked me a couple questions. How long do you want to be gone? When do you want to leave? What kind of tours are you looking for? She knows me. She knows I'm a foodie. She knows I love to cook. Hey, would you want to take any cooking classes while you're there? Do you want to, where do you want to take tours of museums? Do you want to go to the countryside? She really asked me a lot of questions, got to know what we were thinking, and then got back to me with an itinerary and said, here, I put this together for you. What do you think? And we looked at it and we made like 1 or 2 tweaks to it, but she planned everything, airfare, transportation between the cities that we were going to, which meant train tickets, the train transportation, the transfers to and from the airports, to and from the train stations. She made reservations for us for dinner. She made sure that we had our tour of our private tour of the Vatican, our semi-private tour of the Colosseum. We also did a walking tour of Venice, and it was a private walking tour, and it included, at the end, we had appetizers with our tour guide. And we spent 2 hours with a woman who lived in Venice all her life, and it was an amazing experience. So for overall travel, your travel agent will get to know what your interests and likes are, and they'll run with them, and then come back to you and say, hey, this is what I put together for you. What do you think? And she also helped me not transfer. We had to postpone our trip twice, once due to COVID and once due to a wedding. So she actually was able to move all of our dates. She got some of the fees waived for cancellation. She worked with everybody for us. I didn't have to lift a finger.
Okay.
And I do that for my Disney clients as well. I can help you with your dining reservations. I can help you with teaching you how to use the app that Disney has for your phone. So basically, we are just a walking, talking box of knowledge when it comes to the destination you want to visit.
So I've never been to Disney. You'll have to help me. So I'm sure it's super complicated, but just for example's sake, somebody's planning a trip somewhere. You will arrange the flight or the train, book the hotel, plan where they're going to eat, their meals, plan the tours. So they literally, if I'm understanding it correctly, everything is planned. They know what times they need to be where, transportation is planned, and they don't need to think about anything, correct?
Pretty much, yep. So I usually work with a client and ask them, have you been to Disney before? If they haven't, then I ask them questions. How old are your kids? What types of characters are your kids interested in? There are certain things about Disney that, like, oh, do you like Star Wars? Are you more into princesses? There's different types of resorts. There's folks who want to spend more time at the pool. There's folks who want to go to the parks. Disney has its own, it's a bubble. It's the Disney bubble. So I help you navigate that Disney bubble before you even get there.
Okay. So if you didn't know about me, and if people watching don't know, you'll be shocked to know that I'm a type A personality. So I would be super stressed, like trying to plan anything. So for me, is this something that would be good for me? I don't have to worry about anything. You tell me where to go, and that's it, right?
Okay. I have worked with folks who like to have their hand in every aspect of their vacation. And
Oh, that's not what I mean. I mean, you like, you plan it for me, so I don't have to worry and stress about doing any, like, you literally hand it, this is
so
where you're going.
yes, you would say, okay, hey, I want to stay at a deluxe resort and I want to stay for 5 days and I want to go to the parks for 4 days. And I make all that happen. And then
Okay.
I just make sure you know how to navigate the parks using the My Disney Experience app. And once I teach you how to do that, then you're good to go. I mean, Disney's not an all-inclusive vacation where you're going to be lounging at the pool and your meals are included per se. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit different than my trip to Italy, or at my trip to Italy, all of our meals were included. We had to tip drivers and things like that. There were little things that I had to be responsible for as the vacationer, but 95% of it had been taken care of ahead of time.
Mhm.
We had paid for it ahead of time, and we knew we had our train tickets. We knew what day we were leaving Rome and going to Florence. I mean, obviously, we had to pay attention to our itinerary, but we did not write the itinerary. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You mentioned having their hand in it. Do you recommend that people just let you as the specialist deal with it? Or,
For Disney destinations, no, we have to have a partnership on that end because I'm not traveling with you. So when you're in the parks, for example, I do tell my clients, we need to have you familiar with the My Disney Experience app. You need to be able to navigate that. It's going to help you navigate around the parks. So there are things you can do within the app, like order mobile food. You could be standing in line at a ride and place a food order and then go pick up your food when you come off that ride. So that's something that you have to do, but I can teach you how before you go.
right, right.
So you're
Okay,
not in
well,
the parks at a loss.
right, right. Well, I've never been to Disney, so I mean, people who've been before probably understand more.
Yeah.
But I think this is very helpful though, because I had no idea. So now I know that you need this app. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to navigate where you're going. And that way, you don't
And
have to
yeah,
wait an hour for food. When you decide that you want to eat.
exactly. No, I mean, and my family's used the app a dozen times, and it gets easier for us each time we go. And I do have to say, Disney is more than just theme parks. So I do specialize in Disney destinations, which includes the Disney Cruise Line. The Disney Cruise Line has their own app that they ask you to download before you board the ship, because that's how you're going to check in. That's how you're going to make dining reservations on board. They also have 3 non-theme park resort properties. They have one in Hilton Head, they have one in Vero Beach, and they have one in Hawaii. So those 3 resorts are not attached to theme parks, but they are Disney themed beach resorts. And I have visited Disney's Ulani in Hawaii, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So you can use Disney destinations just to go to the beach and have a beach vacation with a Disney flair.
Oh, see, now that's something that I would love. I'm glad you mentioned that because I like
Uh,
the beach, but I would love a little bit of the Disney and fun added into it.
I
I'm not
think
much of a ride person.
for me, just the whole Disney experience and the Disney level of customer service is what brings me back every time. I just can't say enough about, like, everything is top notch. Everything is top notch.
You mentioned earlier the 2024 year. Is it too late for people to go to Disney to plan a Disney trip in 2023?
No, and actually, if folks want to go in June through the end of September, Disney just released special reduced price tickets. So 4-day tickets at $99 a day per person,
Oh,
and
and
that
sorry.
that's okay.
I was just going to say again, because I've never been. So I think this is informative for anybody that's never been to Disney. That that daily ticket that gives you entry into the park. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does anything else come with that entry? I mean, do ride tickets? Like, explain to me what that covers.
Oh, okay. So a single day ticket gets you into a Disney park. It gets you on any ride in the park. So once you buy your ticket, you have access to everything in the park.
Oh, that's awesome.
So rides, shows, restaurants, you can make dining reservations, but you have to have a ticket to get into the park in order to eat in one of the sit-down restaurants.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Because I've been to downtown Disney, is that not? I assume it's not covered by a ticket because I just walked right in.
No,
So,
nope.
okay.
And you must have been there a while ago because it's now
Yes.
called Disney Springs.
Oh,
And no, you do not need a ticket to go to Disney Springs. It is the mecca of entertainment, restaurants. There's a Cirque du Soleil theater there. There's a movie theater there. There's a bowling alley there. And there's restaurants, counter service, table service, shopping like you wouldn't believe. It's more than just Disney-owned shops. There's an H&M there. There's Tommy Bahama. There's all kinds of shops there. So yeah, that is just, you just go. You don't need to buy a ticket to get in there.
okay. Yeah, I went with my friend from law school shortly after we graduated. So that was like 12 years ago.
Yeah. So
Something
now it's
like
Disney
that.
Springs, and everything with Disney has a story. There's always a story attached to everything with Disney. So Disney Springs has its own backstory. They built a bar and restaurant there called Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. And the legend is Jock Lindsay found Disney Springs, and it goes on and on from there. I don't know the whole story, but Disney loves their storytelling. So no matter where you go on property, you're going to find some pretty cool aspects to Disney and their storytelling.
I remember when I went to Disney Springs, formerly called Downtown Disney, we had to leave and go to City Walk because every single restaurant was completely packed. So, can you assist people as part of the Disney, as part of what you do to maybe get a reservation at a restaurant there they would want to go to?
What I would always recommend is making your dining reservations 60 days in advance. And that's also what Disney recommends. So I know that sounds kind of, oh wow, we have to make reservations already. But yes, you can get reservations sometimes while you're there. I mean, I was just there in February and we made dining reservations at a table service while we were there and we didn't have a problem. But for some of the more popular restaurants, for some of the more busier times of the year, if you were to go at Christmas time, I would highly recommend making your dining reservations sooner rather than later. If you're going to Disney Springs and it's a busy time of the year, the race weekends, holidays, spring break especially, summer, parts of summer, like the beginning of the end of June and the beginning of July, and then pretty much throughout July, it's a very busy time. So what I would just tell my clients is if you don't get a dining reservation, before you go, just keep trying. And the app helps you to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share about how you can help people plan their Disney vacations or any vacations in general before we go?
Sure. It's never too early to start planning a vacation. And in some cases, it's not too late. I had someone reach out to me and ask about a vacation for Memorial Day weekend. And it wasn't Disney related. So I was able to connect the individual with Alicia. We could try our best, like depending on where you want to go. Right now, flights might be problematic because it is expensive to buy plane tickets. So I would say definitely have a budget in mind, no matter where you're traveling to. And don't be afraid to share that with your travel advisor, because it does help me if you've done a little bit of research. So if you know you want to fly out of Dulles to get to Disney over Memorial Day weekend, but your budget is $3,000 and you're taking 7 people with you, I need you to do the math before so we could figure out how we're going to fit that into the budget. But I do everything I can, to work within your budget, to work within, to try to help you as best I can with all of the parameters that might be there.
Okay. Okay, and then just to follow up on one quick thing, because I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand. How does payment work when they first? How does it work? They contact you and say, "I want to go to Disney." When do they pay?
That's an excellent question. In my case, they make all their payments through me to Disney. So I have an agent portal and I make payments through the Disney agent portal. Everything is secure, and you make a down payment for it. For a Walt Disney World Resort package, it's a $200 down payment. If you add travel protection, then you're going to pay for the travel protection on top of the $200 down payment. A Disney cruise, that's a 20% down payment. And then your final payment for a Walt Disney World package would be due 30 days before travel. And you always have the ability to call me and say, hey, I'd like to make a payment. So I've had plenty of clients who have set themselves up with payment plans, and they will shoot me an email and say, can you please make a payment using my credit card on the following dates? And you can pay off your trip well in advance of those 30 days. You could pay for it all up front, or you could put the $200 down and then wait till 30 days out and make the rest of the payment. So there's always payment options. And even with other types of travel, there's usually payment options that agents can work with you on.
Okay, what about payment for your services though?
Oh, for my services, Disney pays me directly. So as a travel agent, we all get paid directly through the supplier. So the supplier in my case would be Disney. So you don't pay me, Disney pays me my salary.
Okay, I think that was a very, sorry.
No, that's okay. And we don't get paid until the client returns from their trip. Oh. So if I plan your vacation for November of 2024, I'm not going to get paid until you return from your trip.
Why is that?
I don't have an answer. But that's for all travel agents, that's how it goes. We don't get paid until the client returns.
Okay. I'm glad that I asked that because it can be uncomfortable to talk about money, but I think a lot of people who haven't traveled really like me, and the little travel that I've done, I just did myself, but it wasn't, I didn't go to Italy or Disney. But I think it's important for people to know because they might assume that they have to pay a travel agent. So I'm glad that I asked that.
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the payment part.
Oh no, that was very helpful too. That was helpful.
But yes, any travel agent, not just myself working with Disney, but any one of us, the supplier pays us. So you're never going to write a check out to your travel agent. It all comes from the supplier.
Got it. Okay. Well, this has been very helpful. Frankly, it really made me want to go to Disney. Because it realized how easy it could be, and I've never been. Even though
I can help you with that, especially if you want to do the beachfront resorts.
Yes.
I mean, that might be something you want to consider.
You know what? You should send me some information on that because I just want to look at that.
I will. I could tell you all about it next time I see you.
Okay, will do. Okay, anything else you want to tell anybody before we leave? Like how they can contact you or anything?
Sure. My email is easy. It's Gina@ibooktravelforyou.com. And if you are not interested in Disney destinations, that's okay. Like I said, I can now help you with a universal trip. And if you want to go somewhere else in this big world of ours, I can definitely refer you to Alicia, Elise, Barbara, or Carol, who can help with any other destination, including cruises.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Something.
I look forward to seeing you too. I'll see you next week.
Yes, next week. For sure. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.